This is cool looking. Look at this. This is like artwork in here.
Yeah.
Cool. It's like sculptures. Now, what do they do?
They're evergreens being protected from heavy salt winds, I would imagine.
These folks really went to town to save their trees.
Yeah. Well, when you get a strong salt wind coming through, it can really wreak havoc on
what a
evergreens.
beautiful house, too. I have not been down here. So what do you think about the sewers? What do you think? Come on, let's say it like it is, Andy. That's why I took you on this ride. Tell me what you think.
I think there are many other methods of trying to clean our harbor than throwing $41 million or more. Well,
didn't you grow up over on this harbor with your dad? And
gosh, my dad opened up so many opportunities for me to get out on the harbor. Back in '76, building was very slow here. He began his business in 1953, and in '76 he found himself with very little to no work on his agenda. So he rigged out his boat for the first time and scalloped commercially for the entire season. And he also found opportunities for me the following year to fish with many well-seasoned old-timers that worked this harbor for years.
I'm going to just pull right over here so then we can
don't go any further. Let's not end up in a predicament that we can't get out of without help.
Yeah. So you think that we could do other things with this harbor, in your opinion, to get it cleaner rather than spending the $40 million initially that we're going to spend to sewer half of. If I'm correct, there's only half of the homes on this.
Yeah, it doesn't even come up as far as we are here, and this portion of the harbor certainly.
Well, what are those things?
Better
what are
circulation.
those things in your mind that we could do?
We do not address gray water from all the yachts and boats that spend the summer in our marina and moored in our harbor. There are no federal, state, or local regulations on gray water. Gray water consists of shower water, washing machine water, anything that goes into the sinks or drains in a yacht or a boat. The only thing that is supposed to be held within a holding tank is the black water.
Yes.
And thank God for that, but I don't feel it's enough. And an analogy would be, if we can regulate the use of balloons on Nantucket, certainly we could do so many more things.
That's a good point.
And gray water, to me, when I walk the docks, and I enjoy walking the docks just as anybody else does, get an ice cream, go down, hold hands with your loved one, and check out the beautiful yachts. But certainly they have the means to make some adjustments to either hold their gray water, or we could come up with some type of a system. They do get hooked up to sewer within the marina. Maybe we could create some type of funnel-shaped suction cup where an attendant in the marina pulls up in a little dinghy, sticks this suction cup over that gray water outlet, and it tees into the sewer connection that they're already connected to, and all that gray water gets pumped to our sewage treatment plant.
Because they have to use their boats when they're here in the harbor, right? I mean,
certainly. So they use in their bathrooms and kitchens, and then on top of that, you've got the attendants on some of these vessels are scrubbing the boat down daily. They're using soaps that have a negative effect on our water quality, and maybe we could come up with.
Well, shouldn't we do it all? I guess what I'm getting at is, in support of the sewer, if we did sewer and we did put regulations in, and we maybe, what do you think about opening up the haul over?
Well, I brought this book along that I found at the Take It or Leave It.
Oh, yeah.
Wall Win It by Jane Lamb, my kindergarten teacher. And
this was her? That was your kindergarten teacher?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she taught at the Coffin School. I went to kindergarten at the Coffin School, and just a wonderful teacher. I was not aware of this book until I found it at the Take It or Leave It. And there's a paragraph in here about a great storm, December 15th, 1896, that blew open the haulover. And it was actually 3/4 of a mile wide, this opening.
Oh, wow.
And you can
let's
see here,
that.
this is an old dock that was at the Wallwinnett House.
Let me just hold that up for a second.
You can see the clear beach with no vegetation on it. This is a picture of it just after it closed up. It stayed open naturally for 10 years.
10 years.
It was almost 3/4 of a mile wide, and at one point, for 5 or 6 years, it had a depth of 8 feet. And the fishermen in town absolutely loved this. They could row their dories right through and get out to the outside, and where there was lucrative fishing, codfish, bottom fish, what have you. It slowly closed up, and there's a small portion in here that says that a number of years after the natural closing of the haulover opening, the fishermen again became alarmed over the possible stagnation of the waters in the upper harbor. And the fishermen did not represent themselves at a hearing, but were basing their hopes on the report of A.W. Barnes, a biologist of the State Fish and Game Division, who had declared shellfish areas need considerable circulation of water, and the opening is very much needed. Robert Backus, then Nantucket's representative to the Great and General Court of Massachusetts, spoke in favor of the measure, declaring the opening would increase the shellfish industry on the island. Now, I would hate to see access be taken away from Great Point and Coteau. Wonderful place to go up as an area like this, but even greater to relax, deflate from the anxieties of the week-long work week. Today, this is the new millennium. We're Americans. We've created aqueducts, railways across the country. Certainly some type of a culvert could be installed there.
Okay.
That could help this out. The head of the harbor reaches a depth of almost 40 feet.
Wow.
The channel to get into the harbor is roughly 6 to 8 feet deep. They do the simple math. I like to stick with simple numbers. There's 32 to 34 feet of water never being recirculated in the upper harbor. When I fished with my dad in '76, granted,
Why isn't it being circulated?
It's below the depth of the top layer of water that's being circulated. There's nothing pushing it up.
I see.
To bring that lower stagnant water out of its deep hole. So I've advocated for dredging a channel. The least we could do when they're here to dredge Pulpus Harbor is dredge a channel into the upper harbor at least 20 to 25 feet deep and create some better circulation. I've been told that a scientific study has been done on this, and it has been deemed that there will be no positive impact from doing that. This is where I have to disagree with science.
Well, what if you opened up the haulover and you dredged a little bit in the process?
I think we would be creating a tremendous amount of circulation that would have absolute benefits. This harbor is not a pond. It's not closed in.
No.
It has 2 tides a day that come in and out of it. And I feel like throwing $41 million at 4%, so to speak, of the problem is not going to add up to enough to show any positive impact.